Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, we're going to be using a team built around Chi-Yu and Flutter Mane, one of the cores that I mentioned actually in our video yesterday, where I went over some great cores you can use in the upcoming Regulation C format. We're taking on the unranked ladder today to get some good tests for this, since there's a lot of people that usually do tests for these formats ahead of time, and if you enjoy the content here and want to see more, leave a like and subscribe, and answer the comment question of the day. What is your favorite Chi-Yu core that you are looking forward to using in series Regulation C? I'm never going to remember that it's Regulation C. It's it's so stupid to change it mid-gen. But my favorite's probably Chi-Yu Flutter Mane, truthfully. I think it's going to be so obnoxious offensively. I get that it's the standard that a lot of people are going to go for, but I still think it's really good. So let me know down below your thoughts, and let's get into the team. So it would not be a Chi-Yu Flutter Mane team without Inaugural Sun. I started Series 2 like this. I'm pretty sure I started Series 1 like this. I know I started pre-Series 1 like this. We're starting off with Sun again. Congratulations, guys. You played yourselves. If you thought it was not a Sun team, I baited you all. I'm so sorry. Torkoal, of course, Terra Fire. It's just the standard eruption set. We have Solar Beam on here. This could also be Earth Power if you choose to run that. Both work. I chose Solar Beam because there's a lot of uptick in Gastron right now, and there's very few mons that truthfully I would need Earth Power specifically for in the format currently. Not a lot of electric types, not a lot of Pokemon that are weak to ground but neutral to grass. So I figured, let's go with Solar Beam. Overall, though, Torkoal is a really great anti-trick room option for this team. On top of that as well, it pairs really nicely with our next Pokemon on the team, and it's just a really great special breaker for us. With Terra Fire, we're boosting our Sun damage even further, and next to Chi-Yu as well, this only makes Torkoal into that much more of an offensive monster as if it needed any more help to begin with. But Torkoal helps, of course, by benefiting from the special defense drop that Chi-Yu will provide to opponents, as well as Torkoal to be fair, but to opponents. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we have LILLIGANT. Now, this is here specifically to pair with Torkoal. I would not bring LILLIGANT unless I was planning on using it in tandem with Torkoal, but essentially, this is a great Pokemon with stuff like After You, of course, being amazing, as well as Sleep Powder. These take advantage of the Chlorophyll from LILLIGANT, allowing it to even outpace stuff like Booster Energy Iron Bundle. And with the Terrestrial Ghost, this has some niche application, to be fair, but especially if I need to just get a really strong eruption off, and I'm anticipating my opponent to go for like a Fake Out into LILLIGANT, or something else that would otherwise try and break a Focus Sash, like maybe an Extreme Speed, I can actually just go for the Terra Ghost, get around that entirely, and then start proceeding to go for After You Eruption and just completely destroy opponents that way. So LILLIGANT definitely has a really strong niche with that in mind, and even if it's just one more eruption that it guarantees off, that is a huge deal for Torkoal. Eruptions usually can OHKO most Pokemon with this thing, so these two in tandem are a really strong core even this gen. Moving on to Flutter Mane, we have the Photosynthesis Shadow Ball set with Shadow Ball, Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, and Protect. Terra Fairy, of course, to boost Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast damage, as these are really strong. With the 228 HP and 44 Phys Dev, we're able to take Advent Wild Charge from Iron Hands with the max physical attack. With the special defense, of course, making sure that we are taking hits really well from stuff like Iron Bundle, of course, with Hydro Pump, even outside of the Sun. Though I will say this is mostly going to be running a little Life Orb here because of the fact that we are on a Sun team, and I figured we can guarantee the speed boost anyway, while adding a little bit more damage to our special side. You can run Booster Energy as well in this team if you are looking forward to gaining the consistent speed boost, but with how often I've been leading off with Torkoal or Flutter Mane in tandem, or just going with one of them and then switching in the other afterwards, I didn't really feel like it was worth it to throw Booster on, but it's your guys' call. Moving on to Chi-Yu, we have the Assault Vest Chi-Yu. Now, I mentioned this in my core video yesterday, but I do think that Chi-Yu will be a solid Assault Vest Pokemon. It has a naturally high speed up anyway, and this allows you to take hits really well from stuff like Iron Bundle, with the Terrestrial Grass especially. You could play a ton of Mind Games here. So I have Terra Blast, which is great for stuff like Iron Bundle, especially if it does Terra underwater for whatever reason, but more importantly, it's for Gastrodon. Essentially, versus a Terra Fire Gastrodon, we still have Dark Pulse as a really strong metric to do damage. Overheat and Heat Wave are our primary stabs in general, and Terra Blast Grass is specifically for the Gastrodon, as well as stuff like Tendozo matchups. With the 180 speed, we're able to creep stuff like Jolly Great Tusk, which I thought was valuable, but also one of the biggest benchmarks we hit is actually for Jolly Annihilate. I figured it was a little bit faster to run the Jolly Annihilate versus the Jolly Great Tusk. It only took like another 16 investment to do so. So I thought this was honestly really worthwhile because we don't know what Annihilate is going to be running for speed in this format just yet. But overall, really great offensive breaker here for the team, and it's a really great support Pokemon because it beats Ruin, weirdly enough. Moving on to MURKROW, this is just standard MURKROW. I've still not learned what this set does after several months of the generation, despite the fact this has been the set for Series 1, 2, and pre-Series 1 even. I don't know what it does, but at least for the investment. I know that obviously Terra Ghost is great because it helps you with avoiding random priority fake out that might stall you otherwise, and it allows you to keep a Violet on the set, which is cool. We have Taunt, which is great to stop opposing setup options. It's great to stop random support Pokemon that are not MURKROW or Grimmsnarl. We have Haze, obviously, to clear different stats, especially from Dondozo, which is huge for Chi-Yu in tandem with that. We have Tailwind, which is great for speed boosting, helps Chi-Yu and Flutter Mane become a lot more offensively potent, and Foul Play is great for physical attackers. It's really the MURKROW's best way of doing damage. Final one on the team is Great Tusk. We have Rock Slide, Headlong Rush, Protect, and Close Combat. You can ditch Headlong Rush for Ice Spinner if you'd like. I figured that Headlong Rush was a little more appreciated for the flying matchups, but at the very least, just because, especially for stuff like Flying Dozo, I just figured it would be doing more damage, as well as stuff like Tyranitar, for example, because this is a great sponge for that. Though Ice Spinner is a great single target route regardless. I figured that with the investment here, obviously it's the same spread that I usually run for Boost Your Energy, Acrobatics, Roaring Moon. It cannot actually OHKO you, which is great. Meanwhile, the speed here is to creep Goldengo if it's Modest, which is very valuable, as a lot of Goldengo are typically running Modest. But in case if it's timid, you still have a lot of other means of taking that out, like Chi-Yu, for example, so it's not too big of a deal. And the Terror Ground is mostly to get rid of your weakness to Flutter Mane, especially on this sort of team, you can take hits fairly well. So with that said, let's get into the battles. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, we're here today doing some unranked casual battle spot to try and test some Series 3 Regulation C teams. Series 3, whatever you call it, Regulation C. I'm probably going to still forget that it's Regulation C for about 3 or 4 months past when the format ends, but we can pretend that it's Regulation C and not just Series 3. If you enjoyed that and want to see more, leave a like below and subscribe. Similarly to how I start all of my VGC content, I started my pre-Series 1 this way. I think I started Series 1 this way, but I definitely started Series 2 this way. We're starting off with the Sun team, because it's the easiest to find teams for pre-meta. So we're starting off with Torkoal, Flutter Mane, LILLIGANT, Chi-Yu, MURKROW, and Great Tusk Sun. We're taking on Abomasnow, Iron Bundle, Palafin, Flutter Mane, Iron Hands, and Garganackle. One thing I really like is how everyone kind of just mutually agrees to start off the format early on by running teams that are just meant to be serious teams on this casual ladder, because we don't have a way to test otherwise. So I do appreciate that everyone's kind of just on the same page with that in VGC. As far as my team comp goes, this team is fairly weak to Palafin actually, but I'm going to bring MURKROW in the back, mostly just as a Palafin check to a degree. I could foul play it in theory, and then that plus Torkoal, I guess, can be kind of decent. This should also help, I guess, in case of random bulk up Palafin, because I don't really know what I'm going to fight this early in the format. We don't know what's going to be the thing, and I could weirdly enough see bulk up Palafin maybe existing in this sort of format, just for stuff like Champao, you know, because it's dropping defenses anyway, trying to make sure you're taking hits like Sucker Punch but better. I could weirdly see it existing in like a vacuum, especially next to something like a Clear Smog or Mungus. My opponent's going to lead off with Iron Bundle and Palafin, so they're definitely bringing in the snow, which is fine. I don't really mind this too much, actually. So what I'm going to proceed to do here, I'm going to go for the Moonblast straight into Iron Bundle, as we did see the Booster Energy pop, and I'm going to switch Chi-Yu right into Torkoal here. I don't really see a need to currently go for Terra on anything. Realistically, what I need my opponent to do is just flip turn, bring in their setter, which while I do think that will be Abomasnow, I think that Abomasnow is definitely going to pivot in here. At the same time, I can't really definitively say that, and there's no reason to make a suboptimal play just to play around the fact that they may or may not go into it, because I lose a lot actually by not going into Torkoal at this point. Especially if my opponent does not bring in the Abomasnow here. Also, if the Palafin really is going for flip turn, then that would be slower than my Flutter Mane anyway, so I still get to take advantage of this water attack drop at the very least. Assuming that, of course, Iron Bundle doesn't go for Icy Wind and that instead it goes for Pump, I could take advantage of that. So Bundle's actually going to go for Protect here. Okay, Protect is still fine. I don't mind Protect. And then Palafin is going to go for Jet Punch. Okay, so Jet Punch, see, this still works out really well for us, actually. So I guess with this in mind, my play is just to go for a... Let's see, so I'm going to definitely just go for a Gleam here. And then I'm going to go for a Heat Wave here. I think the bundle is going to definitely just go for a Hydro Pump here. And especially when it gains the Sun advantage back, that's probably the best play that it can make. I'm still... Well, not the Sun advantage, the Hail advantage. Which I'm still fine with that. I don't mind losing Torkoal, truthfully, because I don't even think that Bundle will actually have a chance to take this hit. Actually, no, Bundle will definitely outpace. Okay, so Still fine, in all honesty. Oh, they're going to go for Aurora Veil. Okay. Well, and see, again, this is why I decided to go for these sort of attacks. Because obviously I still have Chi-Yu in the back as my Firebreaker. But with this in mind here, though, despite the fact that my opponent has Aurora Veil, this should still be a huge dent on at least a Abomasnow. And yep, that takes out a Abomasnow. So now I can actually reset my Sun later on. And this is what I was talking about, how it's too early in the format to know how people are going to play, how they're going to adjust around the Ruin Pokemon. I don't really want to try and make any sort of reads on my opponent, because may as well just attack what's in front of me. And attacking what's in front of me is apparently working out well so far. I'm going to go for a Protect on the Flutter Mane, because Flutter Mane should be a decent Protect option here. And then I'm going to switch out here hard in the MURKROW. MURKROW will obviously gain us a few different advantages. For one, I can bring back in Torkoal, and they no longer can stop my Sun. But more importantly, point number 2, if they don't KO MURKROW later on, this is a potential Haze Pokemon. I'm thinking more so for stuff like Iron Defense Garganacl, which actually that one wouldn't really matter. It's more so for SD hands though, or again the bulk of Palafin if that comes for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to definitely, regardless of what my opponent does, I'm going to double back into Torkoal here. Even if that means the Torkoal goes down, I'm pretty okay with this. I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam here, because I don't really need to avoid the Terra well, I don't really need to go for a single target just yet. And I would rather take out the Iron Bundle, truthfully, than try and take out the Palafin and still fail to do so. So I think that it still is my best play to go for this. Now, they could dual target into my Flutter Mane here, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that in all honesty. Because if they dual target Flutter Mane instead, I still have Chi-Yu in the back at the very least, which is good. I don't think they KO me with Jet Punch plus Pump anyway, to be completely honest. But we'll see. Yeah, see, Jet Punch does minuscule damage. This actually does 0. And Blizzard's going to go off. It's going to miss Torkoal. It'll hit Flutter Mane. But again, it doesn't really do a lot of damage. So I'm okay with this. Okay. So I don't even think we actually die to a Palafin Jet Punch again at this point. Well, okay, we might actually after the Life Orb. I forgot about Life Orb Chip. But that's still honestly fine, because if they're going to target that, I could Solar Beam to Palafin, and that works out great for me. Or I could Solar Beam to Garganacl, that also works out great. I'm going to go for Protect here, and then I'm going to go for the Solar Beam into the Palafin here. I think that'll be my best play, and then I can bring in Chi-Yu on the following turn, which I think they'll deem as more of a threat. And then I can proceed to go for some sort of attack. See, they're going to burn Garganacl on Wide Guard. Okay, Wide Guard Garganacl works out great for me. Because essentially at this point, now I can just KO the Palafin, and that works out really well. Okay. I would assume this KOs Palafin at the very least. It might not, for what it's worth. They do have Aurora Veil up, and Palafin is kind of bulky anyway, but I'm going to guess... Okay, that actually did, like, no damage. Well, this is still actually fine. There's Citrus Berry. That explains why they were doing no damage. Okay. So, let's see. So what I can do here, I'm going to proceed to go for a Moonblast into the Palafin, just in case I take the hit. I'll definitely trade at best, but I'm fine with that. And then I'm going to go for another Solar Beam. They'll go for Protect, so be it. I think they're going to probably Salt Cure on one of my slots, which I'm fine with that. Kind of wishing I targeted the Garganacl, but you can't win them all. Okay. So they're going to go for Salt Cure up into Torkoal. That's pretty okay for me. At the very least, they didn't go for it into the Palafin. Not the Palafin, the Flutter Mane. So I do actually still get to force them to go for another Jet Punch, which is good for me. What I'll probably end up doing is I'm probably going to just target the Palafin again. I think that they're going to most likely protect on Garganacl anyway. And if they do hit a double protect by some miracle in Palafin anyway, I'm okay with that. Plus, their Aurora Veil actually wore off here. So Palafin should take a substantial amount of damage this turn. Which I will most certainly take that. Now, I'm curious about what they'll go for. My guess is Jet Punch plus either Wide Guard or Protect. I can't imagine that they'll go for another Salt Cure, because I'm sure in their mind they're going to just assume that Jet Punch will KO. But for what it's worth, Salt Cure isn't a bad play. They might also just go for a cover in case they think I'll attack into the Garganacl slot. Okay, so Palafin does KO Torkoal. That's perfectly fine. So they're probably going to go for, like, Recover or Salt Cure. Yep, Salt Cure. Okay, that's fine. It still doesn't do a ton of damage, thankfully, and I'll still keep Torkoal around for one more turn at this point, so I will most certainly take that. Now, I hope that I can take out the Palafin here. I don't think I will, but I'm going to hope so. Yeah, we do not take out Palafin. Unfortunate. Okay. So, looking at this, I'm going to definitely bring in Chi-Yu at this point. Actually, I could bring in... No, I'm going to bring in Chi-Yu. Oh, wait. Torkoal. I clicked the Torkoal slot on accident. What the fuck am I doing? Okay, so Chi-Yu's going to come in. And I'm going to definitely go for the Terra on Chi-Yu. because realistically, even if Garganacl is like a Terra Poison set, I don't really mind that because that won't have Terra Blast, so I'm okay with this play. I'm going to go for the Terra Blast into Garganacl this turn, and I'm going to go for a Protect on Torkoal. I think they're going to Jet Punch Chi-Yu, which I'm okay with that, because Jet Punching Chi-Yu, it's a lot less bulky for one. I don't even think they'll take out Torkoal immediately. So I do think they're going to value taking out the Chi-Yu with Jet Punch, which works for me, because I'm going to Terra Blast into Garganacl. If one of these is going to Terra, I think it will be Garganacl, but I don't think it'll be this turn. I think it'll be on the following. Unless if they were some, like, Terra Fairy set, they're going to Protect on Palafin. Works out for me. And then what's Garganacl going to do? Torkoal's going to Protect. Okay, so Garganacl did not Protect at the very least. This is invaluable, because my Torkoal's the slowest mon on the field. Objectively speaking, it's a 0 IV Torkoal. So there's no way in hell they would have been able to underpace out and go for Protect. So this gets off a near KO. That's perfect. I don't mind the Salt Cure going off here, truthfully. This isn't a huge deal, actually, for us. And I can proceed to just start going for... Heat Wave, actually, is a pretty free play here. Despite the fact that Sun is gone, Heat Wave still works out really well for us. I could also just go for Dark Pulse and just take out the Palafin, because my guess is that Palafin is going to probably not Protect here. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse here, just in case of random Terra around Terra Blast. And then I'm going to go for a Heat Wave here, just in case if for some reason my opponent doesn't go for Wide Guard or Protect on one of these Pokemon, or Salt Cure to kill my Torkoal. Essentially, there's a lot of what-ifs that need to happen there, but I do think that's still a valuable play to make. Realistically, I don't think that Palafin has a way to KO Chi-Yu at this point. Though, I will acknowledge Chi-Yu's not that bulky, but at the same time, though, it is still a resisted hit that Palafin will be going for, and it's not even Mystic Water. I doubt their Wave Crash would KO. Wave Crash after Salt Cure might KO, but I'm okay with that, because if they're going to go for Wave Crash and Salt Cure, then I should be fine, because that means that they're targeting my Chi-Yu slot. They're going to go for Protect and Garganacl. Perfect. That works out well for me. And then Palafin's going to go for Jet Punch and Torkoal. Perfect. Okay, I'm fine with this. So, from here, let's see. So, we're going to go for the Dark Pulse, and that should KO the Palafin. Beautiful. So, it's just Garganacl left. And I can manage Garganacl. What I can do at this point, I can actually just go for Dark Pulse and Foul Play. And there's no way in hell that Garganacl will have enough HP to take that. In fact, actually what I'll do, I think I'm going to go for the Terra Blast plus Foul Play. Essentially, this is just in case of some random Terra Fairy set or like a Terra Dark set, because there's nothing that would actually mutually resist both Grass and Dark that my opponent could go for. I'm trying to think of options, and there's not really a single one they could do. I think the best play they could make would be to go for the Terra Poison or something if they had it, just to try and resist Terra Blast, but overall, we'll take the win here. The win is very appreciated. Want to know with the Chi-Yu team? Hell yeah. Let's get into game number 2, though. We will see you guys then. Peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to game number 2 today, we're taking on a team consisting of Hippowdon, Dragonite, Iron Bundle, Meowscarada, Ditto, and MURKROW. Okay, so it's definitely fairly interesting to see Ditto here, but it is kind of scary for my team, actually, as Chi-Yu can really ransack my own current build. I'm anticipating Hippowdon leading, if nothing else, just to try and take out a Torkoal lead, because Torkoal Flutter Mane, Torkoal Chi-Yu, and Torkoal LILLIGANT all actually look really good here. Torkoal Great Tusk even looks okay, at least on paper. They don't know that I don't have Ice Spinner, so to them it would seem like a pretty decent play if I had it. What I think I'm going to do here, I'm going to lead off with Torkoal. Actually, no, I'm not going to lead off with Torkoal. I'm going to lead off with Flutter Mane, and I'm going to lead off with Chi-Yu. I think that realistically this sort of lead would probably give me the most options going into my opponent's slot. Actually, no, I'm going to lead off with Torkoal and Flutter Mane LILLIGANT. Because I think that there's definitely a world where I end up going for Sleep Powders into Bundle and Dragonite. Actually, no, I take that back, because I think that Chi-Yu will just be better. We're going to go with Torkoal. And then I think that last mon probably will be... I feel like it's got to be MURKROW again, or maybe Great Tusk. I think I'm going to go with... MURKROW. Nope. Never mind. I'm going to go with LILLIGANT. I'm copping out last second. LILLIGANT still is decent here, and the Focus Sash realistically can be useful. It should be decent for mons like Iron Bundle, for example, because I do actually outpace that just barely with the max speed set. So I will take that. And I think that's kind of what we're going to have to bank off of here, is hoping that this ends up being some sort of like a booster energy bundle, because I could actually get some mileage out of LILLIGANT with that. With that said though, good luck and fun to my opponent. We're going to be taking on Iron Bundle MURKROW. Okay, this is perfectly fine. So as far as their bundle goes, is it going to be Focus Sash? Is it going to be Booster Energy? They are going to be Booster Energy. Okay. And they are Speed. Perfect. Good to know. The Speed was kind of obvious, but still good to know. I'm going to go for a Moonblast here into the Iron Bundle. And I'm going to go for... I kind of want to go for a Terra already. Terra Grass isn't the worst thing here. And I'm definitely not going to go for Terra Ghost here. I don't really have a means of actually using Terra Fire outside of, I guess, after you LILLIGANT. But even still, it's a little bit too untrustworthy, I guess, for lack of a better word, with the fact that my opponent could go for Hippowdon. So I am just going to go for the Terra here. And we're going to go for a Heat Wave. Heat Wave plus Moonblast should be enough to KO both these Pokemon. I would be shocked if we don't. I could have probably went for Gleam and Heat Wave, and that might have been a better play. But I'm still fine with this, in all honesty. It's not really a huge deal. They're going to probably pump Chi-Yu anyway, and this is where the Assault Vest comes in, because in tandem with Terra Grass, we're in a really good position to take this hit. Even if they go for like an Icy Wind here, I'm not too concerned. We've confirmed this is Prankster. It was kind of obvious, but it's still good to take note of those things, because sometimes opponents get that wrong. Hydro Pump goes off. That's fine. This should be a pretty clean KO here. Perfect. Shoutouts to Chi-Yu, making this very easy in case that even was a roll for some reason, which it wasn't. And then we're going to go for Heat Wave. Heat Wave should do a substantial amount of damage. It actually just KOs MURKROW anyway. Perfect. Okay, so we've already taken out two of the biggest threats on this team. MURKROW for speed control and just general shenaniganry with Quash. And then Iron Bundle, which is just a pain in the ass, especially if it predicts right against this team. They're going to go into Meowscarada here. Okay, Meowscarada is a little scary, but it's not too big of a deal. And they're going to bring in Hippowdon. So they've already actually lost their ability to change the weather later on. I'm going to proceed to go for a Dazzling Gleam here. Actually, I'm just going to go for... I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam, yeah. We'll go for Gleam, and then I'm going to go for the... I could just go for Torkoal. I'm going to go for Torkoal for now, because I can preserve Chi-Yu for a little bit later. I do like the idea of attacking first before Meowscarada, since we don't actually creep the set, funny enough, because I can just go for the Torkoal and then outpace it anyway. So I only really creep up to Booster Energy Roaring Moon, for anyone, I guess, who skipped the Team Builder, because that's a mon that could actually outpace me in the sun, is the Speed Boosting Moons. So with this, of course, we can bring Meowscarada down fairly low. It's probably going to go for a knockoff here, which I'm fine with. Knockoff, yep, that's pretty okay. It is Protean, which is actually substantial to note, because they typically don't run Protean, but I'm fine with that. It is now a pure Dark type, which works out well for me. And then my opponent's going to be a Life Orb set. So they're pretty low, actually. Okay. And then the Hippowdon went for Ice Fang. This is perfectly fine. We'll bring in LILLIGANT here, and this should be a clean way to KO both Pokemon from here. Okay. Yep, so we'll go for After You. And then... Oh, shit. I went for After You on Hippowdon. We're going to go for After You on Torkoal. And then I'm going to click Eruption. Even if my opponent goes for something like Sucker Punch here, I'm okay with this. They did not go for Sucker Punch here because that would not have attacked slower than After You. If After You was priority, though, that would be fucking broken. Then, yeah, Torkoal cleans. Very easy. Game number 2. Probably one of the easiest games we've had in a while, actually, to be honest. That's no knock at my opponent's team, for what it's worth. I think we got a perfect lead situation, thankfully, and she was just fucking broken. So we'll definitely take that. We'll see you guys in game number 3. Until then, peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to our final game of the day. We're taking on a team consisting of Annihilate, Armarouge, Flutter Mane, Goldango, Sarledge, and Indeedee. So weirdly enough, this actually isn't even the first time on the channel that I fought a Sarledge Armarouge core. Believe it or not, I think this might actually be the 3rd time. It's definitely the 2nd at least, but it might be the 3rd time. Regardless though, as far as my lead goes, thankfully they don't have weather. We're finally not fighting a weather team. Pretty good. I could probably just lead off with Torkoal and Chi-Yu. Torkoal and Chi-Yu should actually be a perfect way to shut down any sort of lead Psy Spam core. Essentially the thought process here would be if they lead off with Psy Spam, then I go for Dark Pulse into the Armarouge or Sarledge. If they go for, I guess, Indeedee plus. But no, so I guess Psy Spam, yeah. So really, it essentially means that I'm going to be countering either the Armarouge Indeedee lead, or I can switch out the I can switch out the Chi-Yu and go for... No, I probably would have to commit to that. I think I'm okay with that play, though, in all honesty. Nope, actually, never mind. I'm leading off with Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane still essentially achieves the same sort of outcome here. I'm going to bring Chi-Yu in the back, and then I'm going to go for Final Mon. I think Final Mon is probably going to be great TUSK this game. Their team has no actual ground check outside of, I guess, Terra Armourouge is probably going to be here, and then maybe Terra Flying Goldengo. Essentially, though, the reason for changing up to Flutter Mane last second over Torkoal was in case if they lead off with Final Gambit and Annihilate, because that could actually be kind of scary if they're going to go for some sort of Trick Room, which I don't know why they would for what it's worth, but in case they do go for Trick Room, I don't really want to lose my... I don't want to lose my Chi-Yu to Final Gambit 8, because I don't actually have Protect on that Pokemon. So I would be losing a Pokemon guaranteed to that if they led with it, assuming they targeted into Chi-Yu, which would be the slot they would target, I'm assuming, as they do have 2 potential Flash Fire Pokemon. So, they're Psychic Seed and DD, good to know. They're also Psychic Assert. Okay. So, this is all fine for me. Okay. So, I'm going to guess that Indeedee is probably going to click Follow Me here. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click Heat Wave. I know that that Armourouge is probably going to be Flash Fire, and I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to proceed to go for a Terra Fairy on my Flutter Mane. Let me just make sure real quick. So I don't need Terra on this. I don't think I need Terra on TUSK. I think we'll just do enough damage anyway. So yeah, I'm going to go for Terra Fairy. Essentially, with this play, I should be able to massacre both Pokemon. I don't know if I'll kill Armourouge, but I'm definitely going to kill Indeedee. This will put a lot more pressure on Terra Armourouge, though, if anything. But essentially, I want to make sure that I'm getting around Follow Me Indeedee, which feels like the likely play here. So I don't want to just go for a Shadow Ball. I think they're going to go for Follow Me plus Trick Room. Okay. They might also go for Follow Me plus Expanding Force, and I'm fine with that as well. Despite the fact that obviously we will probably lose our Terramon turn 1. In all honesty, it doesn't really make a big difference for me. So, let's see. So, Armourouge is going to go for... Oh, okay, so yeah, they're going for Trick Room. So this is fine, actually. And they're not even Flash Fire, which that's actually a really good piece of information for us. They have now set the Trick Room. And the fact that they did not go for Expanding Force first, I can go for Eruption pretty fucking freely. I'll go for Protect just in case, just to stall a turn, but I get a really fucking free Eruption here, because they made that play. I didn't think they'd actually do it, in all honesty. I said that as kind of a joke, but I'll take it. This is what I was saying earlier, though, where we can't really just bank off of the fact that my opponent will make the optimal play here. This does lead me to believe this is definitely a Flash Fire Sarilege, though. I thought it would be flipped where Armourouge would be Flash Fire and Sarilege would be Weak Armor, but hey, that works out well for me. So Sarilege being Flash Fire, I'm okay with this. Armourouge is going to go down, and truthfully, that was a significantly larger threat to my team. So, we've already KO'd the Psy Spam option. Now, I will say the fight is not over yet. This is a fairly dirty archetype to play against, because Sarilege can still actually put a ton of pressure on my build. However, Goldengo at the same time, oh, they're going to disconnect. Okay, we'll get one more game in. They definitely disconnected when I went for Eruption and massacred their Expanding Force button. So I guess we'll get one more game in. What the heck? It's early enough in. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's play one more match. Peace out, guys. Through my Joy-Con. Okay, so we're fighting a little bit of a not Regulation C team. This is one of the 1% of people that doesn't actually use the unrated ladder to test future formats, which is fine. They're not even testing Paldea Prologue either, because the fact that they have both Pokemon. So this is just someone who is obviously trying to run both box arts, and that's cool. You fight them sometimes in the ladder, what the heck. But I'm going to show you guys right here why this team is so filthy. So, they have Dual Legend, they have the Torkoal, Flutter Mane, Mira, and the Great Tusk, and they have MURKROW. Okay, so I'm going to lead off with Flutter Mane, plus, actually no, I'm going to lead off with MURKROW. Nope. Flutter Mane plus MURKROW here. We're going to bring Torkoal in the back. Actually, I don't even need to bring Torkoal. They have 2 Sunsetters. There's no way they bench both. And if they really bench both, I'm fine with that. I'm going to bring Great Tusk. And I'm going to bring Chi-Yu. Now, essentially, my game plan here, I need to KO Koraidon as quickly as possible. That said, though, I do need to figure out if Koraidon is the Terramon here. Koraidon being the Terramon is truly the million-dollar question. It doesn't really matter if Miraidon is. Truthfully, it's going to go for Electric or Dragon anyway. However, or maybe Fairy, but Fairy doesn't really make a difference in my game plan either. It's really, though, is Koraidon the Terramon. Now, they're going to lead off with MURKROW Koraidon here. Perfectly fine. I always click Tailwind plus Protect. Objectively, it is always my best play here. So, we're thankfully speed boosting on Flutter Mane, which means that unless if this is a Scarf Coraidon, we always outpace it, which is one of the reasons why I need to figure out, is Coraidon the Terramon? Now, they're actually a level 49 MURKROW, which is pretty interesting to say the least. We have actually seen this in some formats in the past where people intentionally run the lower level Pokemon, such as level 49 Pidon, for example, in Gen 7. So I'm kind of curious if that's what they're going for here, but I don't think it is. They are going to Terra Coraidon here. That's perfectly fine. They're probably going to go for Fire, but if they're going to go for a Stab, I'm fine with that. Terra Fire. Perfect. Okay. So this is why we go for the play that we did, because now we know that they are Terra Fire. We got the Protect Off guaranteed. We'll still get up a Tailwind with our MURKROW, and that's amazing for us, actually. So they're going to be Tailwind in their MURKROW as well. Okay. And then our MURKROW gets up Tailwind. Perfect. Okay. So I'm kind of curious. They must be running speed on their MURKROW because we don't have speed in ours, and theirs should definitely be slower because it's a lower level. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball into the Coraidon. And then I'm going to proceed to go for a Foul Play into Coraidon. The fact they're no longer a fighting type helps a lot with this turn. But overall, Shadow Ball should do a ton of damage anyway from the Life Orb set. Yep, that's pretty decent damage, to be honest. Albeit, it's not as great as I would have liked, but it is something for sure. Flare Blitz will go off. That's okay for me. Flutter Mane will definitely die to this hit, but they're going to take a lot of recoil. And on top of this as well, they still have to take the Foul Play damage, which I'm also okay with that. So all of these are pretty good for me. I don't think we'll KO with Foul Play, to be honest, but that's fine. MURKROW, Brave Bird doesn't do a lot of damage. We know as well they have Brave Bird, which is really good. Okay. Oh, we actually do KO. Okay, perfect. So Coraidon is already gone, and truthfully, trading Flutter Mane for that is worthwhile in my opinion. We'll still have a lot that we can actually do against this team. I'm gonna go into Chi-Yu. Now, Chi-Yu has a lot of options here, actually. If they bring in Miraidon, I'm going to Terra, because we'll get the defensive advantage here. I don't really see the need to Terra against the Flutter Mane, in all honesty. Instead, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to click Heat Wave. So, they're going to be... What are they going to boost? They're going to be Special Attack boosting. Okay, so that's good to know. That means that they're modest. Let's see. So, Photosynthesis. Spat. Okay. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for the Heat Wave here. Heat Wave should do a fuck ton of damage. And then I'm going to go for the... I kind of want to go for the Foul Play. I don't really have a better choice of attacks in all honesty. So we'll go for Foul Play just in case it's Focus Sash. They're going to go for Dazzling Gleam here, so be it. They KO my MURKROW, but Chi-Yu, thankfully being Assault Vest, choose that hit really well. Even Brave Bird from MURKROW should not take us out, but obviously we will also outpace MURKROW. Let's see, what Mon avoided? Please, oh, are you kidding? Alright, Flutter Mane avoided. That's actually really bad. That's pretty bad. Okay, not a huge deal, but it is definitely not a good play. Because not being able to take out the Flutter Mane there is actually pretty bad for us. They're going to have Great Tusk as last one. Okay, so you know what? No Miraidon, I will take that. No Miraidon or Torkoal for that matter. Okay. So this game suddenly became a lot more winnable, but it's still not great for us. Essentially what I need to do, their defense heightening. Perfect, okay. So, I need to go for Terra Grass and I need to go for Heat Wave. This is essentially in case if for some reason I don't KO the Chi-Yu. I'm going to go for a... Actually, no. I can't afford to go for Terra Grass, is the unfortunate truth. I need to go for this, and I need to go for Terra Ground. I guess the question is, do I take this hit anyway? Let's see. Right of now. So I am curious. Do I actually take this hit? Great Tusk. So we are 228 Terra Ground. Flutter Mane with Beads of Ruin. We do take the hit. Okay. So yeah, we are going to go for the Terra Ground Rock Slide then. That is definitely my best play here. Essentially, I just need to get rid of my weakness to the opponent's Dazzling Gleam. And if they are going to go for Dazzling Gleam, I'm fine with that. Even if they are Life Orb, actually, they do not KO, thankfully. So that certainly works out well for me. Yeah, that shouldn't KO. Even with Special Attack Boost, actually, that shouldn't KO. Beautiful. Just barely takes the hit. Heat Wave is going to go off. This should do a ton of damage. Both Pokemon just barely live. And then the question is, can we outpace with our Great Tusk? Can I outpace? I need my Great Tusk to outpace here, and I need to get off the Rock Slide. No! Oh, that was so close. Okay. So it's unfortunate. But you know what? The fact that we could bring it that close against a team that we shouldn't have even... well, okay, for what it's worth, I should not say should not have been playing, because this is the unrestricted ladder. Anything can happen. But for a team that was not within the format we were practicing for, to have brought the game that close, I'll take that. That's a huge win. Now, I will say this could have been avoided, actually, by bringing Flutter Mane. Well, no, it couldn't have been avoided by bringing... Not Flutter Mane. I was going to say LILLIGANT, but LILLIGANT wouldn't have made a difference there, actually. Specifically over Great Tusk. But it is what it is. It actually just came down to speed, which, truthfully, despite me having a lot of speed, my opponent just had more. So a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. If you guys enjoy this content, though, and you want to see more just like it, leave a like and subscribe. I'll bring some more Regulation C. For those of you guys who are looking forward to Paldea Prologue, though, I'm actually going to test the team tomorrow for Paldea Prologue. So hopefully you guys will stay tuned for that. Shoutouts to channel members, of course, being Josh, aka Ultra Player, Mia, Zeke0, Matt O'Shea, and BBat. Your guys' support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and if you want to see more for just a couple dollars a month, channel member button is down below, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. Until then, peace out, guys.